Download the AllStar app. Make your picks for UFC fights, challenge your friends, level up and win prizes. Link in description. Get it now.
Got our guest in the room. Jeremy Kennedy has arrived. Jeremy, go ahead and shoot that mic request, a purple mic-shaped icon in the lower left-hand corner. Get you a mic.
I got him.
Got him? All right. See if it's connecting here.
Should be.
And testing.
Mic is on.
Jeremy Kennedy, do you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
There it is.
All right.
Affirmative.
Right
Welcome. And this is my introduction. Jeremy Kennedy is a premier MMA fighter. Worked for one of the big organizations of the world. 19-3 professionally. He is one of the few fighters that can proudly say he has a winning record. Multiple wins in all three U.S. organizations. His only loss in the UFC is via Alexander Volkanovski. He's won everywhere he's gone, and he continues to. Ranked number 3 in the featherweight division for Bellator. Mr. Jeremy Kennedy, how you doing, bud?
I'm good, man. Thanks for the introduction.
Of course, man. I'm glad you can come back this second time hanging out with us. And I know you already told me you got dad duty tonight, so we'll keep it short and sweet.
No, you might just hear a little squawking baby in the back.
Hey, yes. Awesome. Well, glad to have. First off, I'm going to jump straight to the main event. Got to get your take. Who you picking?
I got Song Yadong, man.
All right.
Personally, I think so. I think he just hits too hard, and he's young, and he's elusive, and he should figure out those calf kicks.
There we go. Good. Hopefully got to figure it out, because that is Gutierrez's number one threat, right?
You know that's what he's coming for. Exactly.
Yeah, that's obvious he's going to do that.
I mean, whether you can stop it or not, that's the big thing, but knowing it's coming is at least half the battle.
There we go. Appreciate that breakdown. And then the co-main event, Lionheart Smith or Mr. Khalil Roundtree?
I got Khalil. Honestly, no, I'm not a hater or anything, just not the biggest Lionheart fan. And I like Khalil. I've done some training with him out in Vegas, so I'm going to root for him on that one.
Hey, there you go, man. You train with him, you got to go with that. And all things being fair, on the separate, there's an extra thing going against Lionheart, and that is the fact that he's short notice. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly that. So, all right. Yeah, man. Perfect. Now,
I'm excited for this one too. This Tim Elliott. I got some value. I mean, Elliott's the favorite, but I threw some money on
Sumadarji.
Yeah.
Yay! Good luck. First, you got real money on the line. I don't care which direction you're going. I wish you good luck, because
I appreciate it. Yeah. Oh man, I wouldn't even say real money. I'm like a $5 better.
Bruh, that's real money to me. Can I eat with it?
Yeah.
Can I take the money? Can I eat with it? It's real to me.
Fair enough.
All right. So I'm sure you're gonna get a lot of these questions, and I'm sorry that I'm gonna come at you. Right? You're in Bellator. You're highly ranked. Everybody's talking about the merger and all this stuff. So obviously, there's only so much you can talk about, and we'll get to those things. But I just want to kind of lay the surface out there so people don't know. People don't know the story. So right now, you're sitting at number 3 in Bellator. Ahead of you, obviously, the champ is Patricio Pitbull. Number 1, Adam Borix, and number 2, Aaron Pico. Now, for people who don't know your story, you've beaten Aaron Pico. He got injured, but so what? You won, and that was in 2022. 2021, you did lose to Adam Borix. Now, that's kind of the way that situation's sitting there. But it looks like, it is very much presented by PFL and Bellator that they want to do this champion on champion format. Are they gonna try to do more like PFL versus Bellator guys, or you gotta still clean out the guys in front of you? How does that work?
Yeah, it's been a bit of a long year, man. Honestly, well, my last fight was February, and it was the number 1 contender fight. They told me I was getting the title shot. I just had to wait till Pitbull fought Pettis at 135 in June. So it wasn't a big weight. I was hanging tight for that. Obviously, that fight went the way it did. He lost. So then they told me that it was going to be I'm fighting Pitbull for the belt in October. And then he took that short notice fight in Japan, lost that. And then he said that he got injured. So he did back surgery. So they actually said, you've been waiting this long. We're going to put an interim title. And it was scheduled for like me and Pico at the end of the year in December. So I was training for that, getting ready for that. And Viacom with the cell and everything, they canceled that card in general. So then again put me on the shelf waiting for Pitbull, and then again they said as soon as we start back up in the new year, you're gonna get your shot. So I was waiting for that, and then at the end of that PFL fights, they had all the champs come in and square them off, and that was kind of how I figured it out that wasn't the fight that I was going to be getting. So now I'm kind of in limbo, man. I've fought both those guys above me, around me. I should be ranked ahead of Pico, but
yes.
it is what it is. That's politics.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I was promised a title shot. That's what I was waiting all year for, and now I gotta pivot a bit. And I'm looking at these PFL guys. Honestly, it's I would like to have some like cross matchups, like top PFL versus Bellator on that same champion versus champion card. Like we can fill that undercard with PFL and Bellator guys. They're top featherweights and our top featherweights and across all divisions, and make a whole card out of it. And that would keep me in number one contention and put me on the right timeline to finally get a crack at Pitbull. So that's kind of what I'm aiming for right now, is one of these big name PFL guys on the same champion versus champion card.
Hell yeah. And honestly, that sounds like a beautiful way to try to like sew up the divisions, right? Like have it headlined by the championship, but then kind of like cross. Obviously PFL doesn't exactly have rankings, but just, break down the tournament accordingly and associate numbers and make it happen, right? Like
exactly. Yeah, and I think a lot of their bigger name guys aren't going to want to jump back into that tournament anyways. So I think we're going to see a lot of these. Like PFL came out and said that we're all in one big pool, and PFL guys, if they don't want to do the tournament, they can do one-off fights in Bellator, and Bellator guys, if they want to do the tournament, they can jump over and do that. So I think we're going to see a lot of these bigger name guys who've done the tournament, like the Lochnanes and the Bubba Jenkins and stuff like that. They're not going to probably want to do another tournament, and they would rather just fight twice a year regularly, cut weight normally, not being 4 fights in 7 months. So I think I'm already anticipating fighting all these guys and all these new faces. So might as well just get the jump on that and take out one of them, and while I wait for my title shot.
Yeah, my man. Because thank you for breaking that down so perfectly. You actually. Man, you set me up perfectly to the next thing I wanted to say. But I was going to say it's got to kind of be a little bit of a stressful spot being number 3 on paper, having defeated number 2, all of this stuff happening in front of you, and then it's like the only clear. I don't fight obviously, but from what I've heard and I've been asking and believe I'm asking is, did anybody get any phone calls for any matchups? Like,
nah, man. I think everything is I think PFL's kind of taken the rest of the year, the holidays, to get everything organized. I'm pretty sure they don't have an exact plan of what they're doing with Bellator. Like they have an idea, but I know they haven't really done all the hires that they wanted to do with the Bellator side. So I mean, I don't know who I'm supposed to be contacting for a match just yet. Is it Mike Hogan or is it Ray Sefo? So I think in the next couple of weeks we should have a lot more answers, and I can get some news before Christmas, hopefully.
Hell yeah, bro. And I'm for that. First I want to, for you and all the fighters, you guys are already always in like a constant state of, oh, let's go. Okay, never mind. Let's go. Okay, stop. Yeah. So to have a little bit more clarification on the issue, I'm sure will be welcomed. As fans, we're all here just dying to hear more, because it's like some of the biggest news in our sport, but then kind of like, well, what about everybody?
No real answers.
Yeah, no real answers. Yeah, I appreciate your honesty and sharing with us everything you could up to that point. Now, talking about the guys across the way, because I wrote some of their names down, and I was thinking about this. Obviously, Jesus Pinheiro, the champ, has got his hands full with Pitbull. So I was looking at the other 3 guys who made the final. Gabriel Braga, all respect to him and all, but he doesn't have the name or
not a lot of experience. He's still pretty green. I think he's under 10.
Yeah, fights. I was gonna say he doesn't have the resume or experience or anything to fight you. Would be kind of I wouldn't think that's a good matchup. But people like Bubba Jenkins, he mentioned, or Chris Wade, that I think because I'll be honest, I was at the PFL fights live, and there was only like the names you mentioned. A few of those names that people reacted to, cheered for, were yelling for. Other than that, a lot of crickets, a lot of unknown. So
So I think that's a big thing with PFL is like they're always kind of like rotating through the roster. I think if you look, they probably only have like 8 guys maybe under contract at 45, just because every season they kind of get rid of the guys who didn't really cut it and bring in new guys. But the ones that the mainstays are the bigger name guys. Like I know Wade's going up, but Bubba Jenkins, exactly like you said, Locknane, he's been in a bunch. Movlid, like all those guys that have been around for a few seasons, they actually have the name. And those are the kind of guys I'm looking at. Not so much Locknane. I trained with him out in Thailand, and obviously there's a lot of other guys we can fight. But Bubba Jenkins, for sure, I've got history with him. And then, again, I would like that rematch with Borix if it is going to be on the Bellator side. So I got a lot of options, and that's a good thing with this merger. It gives a lot of options. Man, I could even jump into a tournament, you know what I mean?
Well,
so there's the options are
that's
endless.
what I was going to say, man. Like, for the Bellator side, it's like you got to be in the top 8 to be considered into the Grand Prix, right? Like you're clearly there, and hopefully you get some kind of title resolution. But if not, I was going to throw that option. You already fought for the PFL once. You have a winning record there. Is that something you would consider re-entering the tournament? Because we've seen Olivier Aubin Mercier getting those checks.
Man, he's an inspiration to me, man. He makes a quick $2 million, rides off into the sunset. That's pretty cool to see.
Right. That's what we want to see.
Yeah. I mean, as far as the tournament for me right now, I'm so close to that title shot, and that's what I've been working for the last few years. That I'm gonna stay put on that for now. But I mean, 2025, who knows what happens from now till then, and I could jump into that tournament, but I just think for next year, there's too many options on the table right now to kind of jump into that tournament. So we'll see for next year.
Big,
or the 2025.
Oh, respect to all that, and of course, whatever's best for you, man. That's what we want. And I'm speaking for everybody in this room here, obviously for myself, but yeah, man, that's what we want. That's what I think for me, and I'm speaking on behalf of some of the fans, is we're getting to see this opportunity for guys get paid, or even just getting fights. We hear from guys who are actively signed by the UFC, a few of them in different weight classes, tell us that they're not megastars or anything, but they're having a hard time book fights. I just like fight.
I think that story, yeah, man. I think that's honestly the story everywhere. Like Bellator was good, but I mean, I know there's situations, but I've been sitting since February, and I think these PFL, that's the one, probably the biggest thing that's enticing for that tournament is there's no politics, there's nothing. It's just you're guaranteed these certain amount of fights in this certain amount of time, and your body's got to better hold up, and at least you're guaranteed money and guaranteed fights.
That's a very solid thing for a lot of fighters is guaranteed fights. Like I am fighting for sure. Well, in a tournament format, at least twice, right?
Yeah.
So
this time at least, where everybody else is kind of you don't know when, you can't book stuff in advance, vacations, anything, holidays, whatever. You're kind of on call year round. And in this sport with the weight cuts and everything, like it's pretty grueling, even if you're not fighting. You got to keep your weight low, stay in shape, stay constantly training with no real fight in sight until you get noticed, So that's the one hard part about it. But
man,
that's everywhere.
Speaking of that, because you're talking about the tournament and respecting the tournament and how difficult it is, you're one of the few guys I got to talk to that's literally, you've been there, done that. You fought the guys so far everywhere, and you win most of the time, right? Now, as someone who's sampled, you've been there, you've sampled the competition all everywhere you can. I get into a little bit back and forth with fans sometimes, where they sometimes use the words like, oh, not UFC level, or such and such, these guys, this, that. Now, I just want to clarify, as someone who's fought everywhere, is the level of difficulty like pretty hard everywhere?
Yeah, man. I'm not a hater at all, but the UFC, man, you look at a lot of, when you get in the top 15, that's a killer murder.
Right.
But outside of the top 15, like, I'm watching these fights, and I'm just naming them just because I saw them, but like that Mezcal Costa and Steve
Right.
Garcia, that's type level guys that, I mean, there's tougher guys in BFL and Bellator, and that's just opening card in UFC. A lot of contender series guys. Ooh,
Ooh,
sorry.
yeah. No.
He's out.
He's
Yeah,
done.
damn. Hey, that's the bookies win again.
Hey.
Hey, keep watching for the
Son of a
official and the
bitch.
stool and
Dude, you guys
afterwards.
see that blood squirt out of his
I
nose?
did.
Oh,
I
yeah.
did.
Oh, the official ate it over the stool. The official's drunk. Somebody check him.
That's
Yeah.
the second time the stool is almost taken out someone.
Hey, I just want
in
to
this,
point this out,
pod.
everybody. It's direct and indirect, right? Who did we have on the show a couple weeks ago? Mr. Chris Brennan. Where's Mr. Chris Brennan? In the corner of Tim Means.
Right.
Who just won who just won their fight after being on our show? Hey, yeah. Hey, happens again. We have a very strong record. So, Mr. Kennedy, I'm just saying, you know, just if you believe in odds, where it's like 20 something to a single digit loss, like we're doing pretty good here. So,
I got more often.
But all the time. Hey, anytime you can make it, you can just come and hang out. It's not going to be a Q&A every time, I swear. Can you take a couple questions from the people?
Of course.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to put the mic in Daniel Silvera's hands. Go for it, Silvera.
All right. First of all, how are you, JBC? How are you doing tonight?
I'm good, man. I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. Just stoked. I mean, because it's you, man. You're here. All right. I never had a chance to ask this. Okay, so for someone who has most of your wins by decision, I mean, what's it like? Just like when you do that to your opponents, like, what is it like knowing that you can like outpace them and do all that? It's like GSP. Like, what's it like?
Yeah, I mean, like on that exactly. It's not like these are split decision wins and very close fights. I pride myself, like everyone wants to finish, but a 30-27 shutout is like, you know, you leave that opponent like going back being like, damn, what do I got to fix? Where you get a quick knockout, they just say they got caught or they got caught in a submission or whatever, but you dominate somebody for a course of 15 minutes. You like deliberately prove that you're better than them, you know? And so that's kind of what I pride myself on. I'm of course I'm always looking for the finish, but if I get a dominating like shutout, you know, you can't be too upset about that either, you know, and that's what I like, you know. I'm just always trying to win every second of every fight, and if that leads to 30-27, I'm cool with that too.
Awesome. And second part, what's it like with Extreme Couture? I mean, tell me, what's it like there?
Oh man,
he's surrounded by Hawaiians. It's the best place on earth. Not Hawaii. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that is. It's like a mini Hawaii out here.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah, it's good, bro. Like you're surrounded by good fighters, and not just like the stable that's always there year round. With the PI in Vegas and just Vegas of what it's known for, you get so many guys coming in for the PI and guys who are here for Apex fights, and their whole team's here for the week and they're coming in. So I've got to be able to like train and cross train with a lot of guys that don't typically train at our gym. So you're always getting constant different looks, and then just the coaching staff, you know, Eric, Nixick, you know, my boxing coach Giff, Dennis Davis. We just got like a good stable of coaches and an even better stable of fighters, you know, across all weight divisions. So and then again, it being in Vegas, you know, you get a lot of guys, like even training at the PI with select groups and a lot of cross training all over because it's just a fight city. You know, there's so many different fighters all across.
I knew it. Okay, that's all for me. Thanks, JBC.
Man.
I appreciate that good stuff, Silvera. I'm going to go to Kyle, then Conrad. Kyle, you got the mic on the floor.
Appreciate it, Rob. Hey, how's it going, Jeremy? So I'm currently an amateur fighter. I'm currently 0-1. My last fight was February. I lost by arm triangle. But for me, basically what I want to know is because I was shooting a fight in the UFC, but now it's like, you know, I'm 32 years old. Finally dropped weight now, and I'm currently I want to fight at welterweight. So my question to you is, because I'm trying to shoot to become pro for 2025, But as somebody as my age is 32, and I doubt myself because it's like I'm getting pretty up there. But as someone in my age that's already starting an MMA career, doing training for 7 years, how any advice on how to keep like staying motivated and focused on the goal at hand?
Man, I think well, first of all, the age isn't even that old. 32. It's more the miles on the body. Like if you were 32 with 40 fights, it would be a different story. But you're still fresh in the game. So I would just honestly take this next year and take as many fights as possible at amateur, because if you're looking to turn pro in 2025, take 2024 to just get as much experience to kind of catch up as you can. And I mean, the wins and the losses aren't the end of the world at amateur. That gets wiped out clean when you turn pro. So sorry, that's my daughter screaming away in the back.
Oh, you're on both.
Yeah. I would just take all the fights you can, and that should keep you motivated as well, training hard, because you got to be getting ready for these fights. And then by the end of next year, hopefully you got 4 or 5 amateur fights under your belt, and you'll be ready to go, ready to turn pro and have that much more experience, and a year full of training, get that much better. But as far as the age, bro, I would just take it one fight at a time and 1 year at a time, and do it as long as you can, that you're still enjoying it. But as long as you're still getting fights and booking fights, it should still be fun.
Oh, I appreciate that. And you do train at Extreme Couture, correct?
I do, yeah.
What's funny about that, I actually messaged Chris Curtis, and I messaged him asking him, like, hey, I'm 32. I don't think I'm going to make it to the high level. I asked him what are the chances that I can come in there and him and I can do like a 1-round, 5-minute spar. And he's like, I said, all respect, no beef, no nothing bad, man. I just want to say, hey, I sparred with a UFC fighter for 5 minutes.
Yeah,
and he goes, come on down. We need to get out to Vegas. But since PFL bought Bellator, I like how PFL has a structure. But for me, I'm now focused on getting to PFL, work my way to get the belt, the mill, and then retire. So, but for somebody who fights in PFL, what would you say would be the best way for me to want to either get noticed or looked at for anything type like that for say in 2025, mid 2025, if possible?
Yeah, I would just think it's numbers. You got to have a certain amount of fights by then. Not even undefeated, but at least 5 pro fights, and then they'll start looking at you. And coming out to Vegas, bro, you got Ray Seffel in the gym too, and you already have a connection with Chris Curtis, and there's a lot of guys that you can get work with. We have a whole amateur team, whole pro team, from all skill levels and amount of fights, all across lots of welterweights, lots of middleweights, whatever you need. So I would honestly invest next year into getting amateur fights and maybe a couple trips out to Vegas, get a couple training camps in out here, and that'll get you noticed networking wise. And there's a lot of big names in the gym, and that'll help get you noticed anyways.
There you go.
Yes, sir. That's my plan. And plus, I just moved back to Oklahoma, so I'm not far.
Well, there you go, man. They're great advice. Mr. Kennedy, we appreciate you, bro. You're giving solid advice on multiple levels and multiple topics. A man who's walked the road himself, so thank you a lot.
Yeah.
I'm going to put the mic in Conrad's hand. Conrad, what you got, brother?
It was just it's more of like a fucking typical fanboy question, if I'm being honest. It's more of just it's silly. But you told us a wee bit about the future and what you believe yourself is going to happen with this whole Bellator and PFL development. But see, for you and yourself, obviously you want to fight for the belt, of course, everybody does, but is there a particular dream opponent you want to fight next year, maybe 2025 at all?
Like I said, man, I got obviously Pitbull's a dream fight, and it's the title. But on the Bellator side, I want that rematch with Borix. I've avenged one of my losses, and that would be a way to avenge another. And then on the PFL side, Bubba Jenkins, man, I've had a little bit of not a rivalry, just more of a friendly rivalry for a long time, dating back to we both fought in Brave. After my UFC stint, before his PFL stint, we were both in Brave at the same time, and he had the title, and I was winning fights over there, and I didn't really want to get the title because it locks you into a longer contract. So we weren't fighting each other, but we were both the top in the division and kind of, you know, chirping back and forth at each other. And then he went to PFL the same year I went over to Bellator. And so now for it to come full circle, that would be a pretty cool one to get. But, I mean, Pitbull, of course, that's my dream. I've watched that guy fight, you know, from the beginning at 45. And he's like the longest running champ in Bellator. He's got all the rankings and all the records. So that would be my dream fight.
All right, thank you, my man. Appreciate that.
Is that Irish or Scottish?
Scottish.
Scottish, I thought so.
Yeah. Hey, Conrad, somebody guessed it right the first time, huh?
I know. It's just some people get confused and they say, "Oh, you're definitely Irish. Has to be." Like, I'm sorry, I don't support Ian Gary. Yes, I'm sorry, I don't.
Yeah, I appreciate.
There's small differences. Like when I fought in Dublin in February, and then afterwards we went up to Edinburgh and did some vacation. the different the languages that you can still tell, but they are similar, but you can tell definitely the difference.
Hey, we sound different. We say they sound different, right? Like, hey, you guys sound similar but different.
Yeah.
Then
You should have gone to Glasgow.
We did. Yeah, we went there too.
I heard Mrs. Kennedy weigh in. She's like, "Yeah, we did. We did that.
We did.
What's up, Mrs. Kennedy? How you doing?"
Hello. Hey. She took baby for me.
Beautiful. Hey, so on that, you've tackled so many of the questions I already had. I just got to ask a couple peripheral ones. Like, have you met Mr. Don Davis yet?
I haven't met him personally.
Okay.
I've met Pete Murray and obviously Ray Sefo.
Okay.
And a lot of the like behind the scenes guys, the lawyers, the matchmakers, and stuff like that. When I fought for them in 2019, but since the merger and everything, there hasn't been too much communication just yet. Just with
Understood.
Ray.
Understood. Now, just completely speculation. You have worked for them. You know some people. Yeah. Do you think this will hopefully work in your favor down the line?
I think so, man. I think I was professional over there. I made weight every time. I fought whenever. They even called me in for an alternate in the finals. Mm-hmm. I flew out to New York, made weight. I hate to say the word company man, but I never said no to anything. So I think, and I had a good, nice, clean break when I went to Bellator. It was more they canceled that season during COVID, and then I didn't want to sit still, so I went over to Bellator, and they kept me busy there. But yeah, I think with my resume over there already, and then the success I had in Bellator, when I go back, I think it'll be good for me in the.
I really hope so too, and I just think in life, people, a familiar face, you are to work with somebody, you're far more inclined, at least my life experience, to, deal with that person more frequently than a stranger. So
hopefully
yes, exactly. That's what I was trying to get to. Pay Mr. Kennedy. Yeah. Pay him, people. Pay him. It's rare to have active young fighters in their prime that has your kind of resume. I'm not just saying that. People go use your Tapology. Go find me another fighter in their prime with a winning record in all three major orgs. Go, please. Come back to me.
I had a pretty cool stat when I was on MMA Junkie Radio that they brought up that I never even knew, but 19-3. But out of my 3 losses, I think they said my opponent's records were like something like 88-3 or something like that combined at the time of the fight, like between the 3 losses I had.
Yes.
So they're like, not losing to anybody, like you're fighting the toughest guys. And if you're going to lose to anybody, those are the ones. And I mean, I already avenged one of them, and that's another reason why I want that Borix rematch. If I can get that one back too.
Can I just throw something out in the universe? I hope you get that one back. I hope you make a butt ton of money, and I hope you get the Volkanovski fight back, brother. Because honestly, you have one loss in every major org, and I'm saying this respectfully, that one is in the UFC's only Volk, bro. That is major. That is so major.
that there's a lot of things that would happen to get that one back. But again, that's another one before the career said and done would be great.
Hey,
like I said,
last I checked, you got the gold on your shoulder. You can start kicking indoors and calling shots, bro. Make it happen.
There we go.
Okay, last of my oddball questions. Any word on Scott Coker coming to PFL?
This is all speculation. I don't know the ins and outs, but I don't think so.
Okay, just a guess.
From what
all right, cool, fair enough.
He's used to being the head honcho, and it'd be hard to go from being the man to having a boss, essentially. So I think that was the big reasoning that they don't think he'll stick around.
Respect to that. Well, thank you for tackling my speculative questions that people just I'm getting these questions all the time, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna ask the most credible source I know.
Yeah. So I mean, it can't be too credible because I don't know personally, but from what I've heard, that he won't be coming along.
My man, there's no mincing your words. Your words are recorded and clearly your own. I'm not putting any words or making any assumptions.
Yeah.
So, is there with all that being said, now is there any scenario that besides fighting for the title, that's the one you want to fight Pitbull for the title? All right.
Yeah.
What else is on your career to-do list? Rematch the Borix fight is one. Championship.
Yeah.
Is
I got to get a championship, whether that's PFL or Bellator. Whatever. I at this point, there's just so many politics that it's hard to kind of chase down one fight. I've been waiting a year for this crack at the Bellator belt, but I mean, I got to get a belt here. I've been around to the 3 biggest promotions and been in the top and had success everywhere, but I need to fight for a belt. Go 5 rounds, feel that out, win that title, and probably another $1 million would be nice too. A nice little tournament.
Hell yes, all of those things.
My boss, get a title, and win a tournament. But I mean, maybe even we can get Borix in 2025 tournament. I can do all 3 in one.
Do it. Why not? Why not? Let the fight gods bless you, man. Okay, now I'm gonna flip it onto you. Do you have anything going on that you want the people to know about? You got a product release or anything you want us to know about?
Nothing too much, man. Just I've taken this time with that I've been in limbo, and it's kind of been good with my daughter being born in September, and I got the news in October that the fight in December was off. So I knew I had at least 3-4 months before anything was going to happen. So it's been pretty cool. How she changes so much right now that it's been pretty cool.
As one
daughter,
as one girl dad to another, man. Salute.
Yeah.
First off, second, yeah, brother. This stage it's a blessing. You look back on this time and be like, yeah, it's probably pretty cool that I didn't have to go fight.
That's looking at the pros of it, the takeaways that I have to. I mean, it's out of my control anyways, but it's been pretty cool to just be a dad for a bit. A little bit more of a family man, still get my training in, but not have that fight looming over my head or anything like that.
Well, with that all being said, I'm going to conclude with this. I hope this next year is awesome when all the official puzzle pieces are put together and put out there. You're definitely a front runner. I hope to see you on their promotions, fighting for big stuff, and of course, come by whenever you can and just share your random MMA thoughts with us. And shoot, I'm gonna hit you up. I want to try to link up with you. I'm in Vegas. I'd love to maybe get some stuff signed, and I'll give it away to the people on your behalf.
Yes, sir.
Hell yeah, let's do it. All right, Mr. Kennedy, I want to thank you for your time, for your answers, for your knowledge, and appreciate you very much.
Of course, man. All right, I'm signing off now, though. I appreciate you guys.
Thank you very much.
Enjoy these fights.
Good night to
have a good one.
Good night to the missus and the daughter.
Thank you.